Yo, 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 what's going on, Grind family? Hope your Saturday is amazing. Of course, welcome to Eternal Grind, the podcast. I am your host, Eternal Grind Capo. Today's episode, we're going to get real deep for y'all. We're going to talk about controlling behaviors and what makes Grandpa different from R. Kelly. Of course, I had to bring a special guest up here, which is my sister, KB, most definitely. So we definitely going to hold it down and figure out what's going on. KB, what's up, man? How was your Saturday?
Yeah, it was a day cleaning the house, doing what I'm supposed to do. You know, the chores of a mom.
Chores of whatever that's supposed to mean, all right? Yo, man. All right, so look, we had the conversation already, uh, pretty much about the controlling behaviors and stuff like that. I just want to get your input on it from pretty much a woman's perspective, a mom's perspective from for this particular topic.
hmm
So let me know what you think about it.
Well, we were talking about R. Kelly, and we were also talking about how our grandfathers and grandmothers were married fairly. It wasn't equal as far as our grandfathers being older and our grandmothers being younger, and how that relates to R. Kelly now in today's society, and
Right.
how they're basically bashing him and making well, even though he did what he did was wrong, and I would never condone his behaviors, but it's been going on for centuries. It's been going on since the beginning of time, and nobody ever speaks about that. How my dad is 76 years old and my mom is 55. That's a huge age gap,
Yeah.
and females tend to think that dating an older male is better because of his experience or him being already established, and how that could produce controlling behaviors because of those situations where the female is younger, she doesn't have a job, she's not financially established, and then it becomes a controlled environment where the male is bringing in the monies to the household and providing for the family, and the female is basically the caretaker of the home, and then
Right.
there's producing a lot of children, and it just becomes chaos.
Do you think that's a taught behavior?
I think it's a behavior that's most so pushed. Is more so pushed, like, oh, he's good, he has a job, he's established, and then it's almost as if the family is benefiting from this man's financial situation because they're probably not as established financially as they would want to be.
You mean the female's family?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it. That I don't know. I think in our particular community, we overlook certain things, especially when it comes to uh, um, past experiences and past behaviors. And especially I feel like a lot of the a lot of grandpas are pedophiles. That's why you see them being very comfortable nowadays with pretty much hollering at young women and trying to deal with teenagers and women in their early 20s and stuff like that, because that's a behavior
Yeah.
that they pretty much that they're used to, and it's been passed down generations, but something that we never spoke about out loud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said, you know what I'm saying? Your dad's 70 something, your mom's 50 something. You know what I'm saying? But we don't speak about how grandpa was already established in the Air Force, the Army, or whatever the case is, and grandma was only 15 with 4 kids and married by 18 or 17 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Honestly, I feel as if these behaviors are more so condoned because a lot of females are pushed out. We were taught to be the caretakers of the home. We were basically taught from the beginning of time to how to take care of a man, how to take care of our future husband.
Right.
Now, today in this society, women are more so independent. We live on our own, and we're okay with that, even though it isn't something that we imagine our lives will be like our lives being. But we are independent women or whatever. But
Right.
with that behavior, I think that it becomes more so of a domestic, like a violent environment, because now the older male feel as if you need me. You know what I mean? You
Ooh.
need me. This is what you're gonna do, and you are stuck here. I've heard there's been several situations where women have gotten married to a 25-year-old at 14 and produced 13, 14 kids,
Yeah.
and then we
Most
have
most grandparents.
Yeah, we have huge families, and people look at it and say, "Oh my God, your mom has so many." But was it something that she wanted to do? Is there Was there nothing else that she wanted to do with her life that she seen that she was able to do with her life? Was there the environment conducive to her doing something positive for herself with her life for herself? You know what I
Right.
mean? Other
Right.
than raising this family and continuing to bear children from this man that more than likely was controlling. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when it comes to R. Kelly and his situation, I feel like he was a victim of sexual abuse at a young age. Unfortunately, from somebody who he lived with, in his own home. He's expressed that more so as an older male. We wasn't privy to this information prior to him having all these accusations put on him, and
Right.
more
Right.
so to the documentary coming out. Yet him being more attracted to younger females, I feel like it's only because he'll be the one in control of that situation,
Right.
because he'll have the upper hand financially. He have the upper hand as far as the younger females being very impressionable because he's an older guy, and this is a lifestyle that he presents to them and makes it seem as if you would never accomplish this without me. But this has been something our community, and not only the African American community, has been dealing with, but in general,
Right.
there's been cases where in Islamic countries, not to knock any Muslim or anybody's religion,
Right.
but
Likely.
yeah, but there's been cases where there would be arranged marriages once a female reaches
Yeah.
puberty.
I've heard of that. I've
You
heard
know
of
what I
that.
mean? So this isn't just something that's just been sprung upon us, and this is something that it's almost as if it's a taboo situation, and people want to deal with it because they know it isn't. You know what I mean? Like, this is not good, but
Right.
because it's okay for now, I'm going to deal with it.
Right. Right.
And what are we going to do as a people to break the cycle? How is it different? And we need to really get other people's opinion and ideas on this specific topic, because we have another generation growing up, and are we going to continue to have our younger females controlled in their lives, possibly messed up because of them being pushed in the direction of an older figure, whether it be male or female?
Right, 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 right. I think that, and I think it needs to be said out loud. We have a bad habit of the traumas in our community or whatever community to for us not to speak it out loud unless it has something to do with counseling. We don't talk to family members about certain things because a lot of times you get demonized for it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, or you get the blame put on you and stuff like that, or a lot of people will try to normalize it, you know, especially if they have something to do with that circle. And you're right. I think the uh the older men, dating younger women and vice versa. I think that's definitely a control issue because I hear a lot and I listen to a lot of the older folks, especially a lot of the older men, talk about, yeah, it was a lot of domestic violence going on back then, and that was acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I'm saying it wasn't like today where you have a lot of these rights, these groups and stuff like that stepping in, or the laws, or just common sense. You're not supposed to put your hands on a woman. Back then, it
Or,
was just so acceptable to the fact to where my neighbor couldn't tell me nothing about beating my wife because he was beating his too.
but then it comes into a part where, when are you gonna get mad enough?
Right,
And then it's a taught behavior. Like, what could you do if we're in the, let's say, 40,
right,
1944, and you have your dad beating the crap out of your mom, and then you grow up and you start beating the crap out of your wife, because those are the behaviors that are learned. You
right,
understand? Not the fact of the age difference. It's the abuse part that is a learned behavior. If it's in the household, it's a form of abuse, not only for the spouse, but for the children as well. Because
right, right,
mentally, you know what I mean,
right.
you're engraving that this is how you treat somebody you love. And
Mhm.
then mentally, after the child see the abuse constantly over and over again, they see that mommy never leaves daddy. You
Hmm.
understand? Daddy hits
Hmm.
mommy, mommy never leaves daddy. And this is how they love each other. So now, if somebody hurts me, but they love me, I don't have to leave because this is a form of love. Yet, in all, it's abuse. You get what I'm saying? And so that's how
Got it.
our guys, more so, not only the females, because it's a double standard where it comes when it comes to females being abused and guys being abused, because we tend to hold our girls closer, protect our girls. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yet our boys are not. They're not thrown away to the wayside, but they're not as protected as we protect our female children.
Right. Right.
And I
Right.
feel like no, when it comes to this Rasby situation with him coming out speaking about Chris Stokes, his own blood cousin, sexually abusing him, and Marcus Houston, I feel like this is the time where even though Rasby he has his own story, he's been
Right.
made fun of, he's been criticized, he's been accused of being a homosexual. You know, I can only imagine he's probably had doubt about his sexuality himself because of these things.
He said that. I watched the interview with the one the guy asked him, does he have questions? And I think this one he was like over in China trying to find himself and
Mm-hmm.
everything else. And he's like he sat and questioned, was he gay? Was he not gay?
Yeah,
Uh what happened? He really don't know how it happened, what led to it and stuff like that. So I definitely agree on the fact that the girls and women being a lot more protected to a certain extent, but I feel like the males have a harder time dealing with things like that. Honestly, I feel like the females they come off a little stronger, and don't quote me or whatever the case is, but when females deal with things like that, a lot of females go on with their lives and use that energy to become successful. Now, don't get me wrong. You have a lot of females that go, get into the streets or whatever the case is, drug abuse, drinking problems, and everything else. But a lot of them go on with their lives and become successful women. Now,
yeah,
men, on the other hand, when they have those sort of traumas in their lives, especially at a young age, that turns into some type of negative energy within their mind that plagues their mind somehow. They immediately jump into the streets. They walk around so angry. Uh, 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 they become abusive
it's
men to
only
their women.
it almost becomes as if it's a defense mechanism to see how hard I can hit,
Absolutely.
when it really shouldn't be that way. You know what I mean? When most females, any form of abuse is not at all acceptable. You know,
Right.
but we hear a lot about females being abused as children.
Mhm.
Most times, often it's by somebody they know. Um, but we don't really hear about our guys that eventually grow from little boys to grown men who have this trauma in their lives. And as a grown woman, I'm looking for a dude that I could potentially be with and be happy with.
Right.
Yet
Right.
when I do meet this guy, I inherit his trauma because I'm not understanding where he get these quote unquote toxic behaviors from. You
Right.
understand? So it
Right.
all ties in together, and it's almost like at times a person could be confused or just in limbo when it comes to their sexuality due to something that has happened to them in the past in their childhood. You get what I'm saying? But when are we as a people going to step up and say, listen, guys, if somebody do something to you that isn't right, if you feel a way about somebody doing something when it comes to your body, your person, this is your temple, say
Right.
something. When all the parents, black, white, Chinese, yellow, orange, come
Right.
together and we make that, like, for both sex, because you have boys and you have girls. Men are the leaders of the family. Men do lead women, but a broken man can't lead a family.
Right.
A
Right.
hurt
Right.
man cannot lead the family. A man who is not even sure about his sexuality, or he's living a life that he doesn't even know if it's the correct way to live, he
Hmm.
cannot lead a family
Right.
and potentially lead other men, whether it be a black man or a Chinese. So us stepping out and saying, listen, for the Rasbys of the world, and for many of other victims that we don't know about that are quote unquote celebrities and famous and who are
Right.
rich and who have these, finances that they'll be settled. But if you're financially settled and you don't have peace within yourself when it comes to some hurt that you've been carrying on, how
Hmm.
could you truly be happy? Now imagine a person that's like us, that's been violated, and they don't have the finances to just possibly, if it's possible, make it go away and live life and be happy. Now this man meets a woman and he physically abuses her because he don't like himself, or that,
Oh,
or his mom wasn't there to protect him. So
right,
that woman in front of him is basically an image of his mother or the females around him who didn't protect him.
right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys who abuse women because they hate their mother.
Again, like I said, that's something that comes from the stem of everything. People don't address things when it comes to these situations. A lot of people get demonized. Like we've seen Precious and all the rest of that. We've seen so many movies where, say, if the mother's boyfriend or whatever, or the uncles and the kid comes and say, "Hey, this person touched me. You're lying." How do we know? You know what I'm saying? Now, mothers say, "Oh, if a person ever touched my child, boom, 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 it's gonna be a wrap." You know what I'm
And the
saying? But
reaction is totally different.
right, so I think it's up to any community to become that leader role, but you can't be in that leader role if you're also a hurt person. And this has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many females I've been to school with that has been through that type of trauma.
But you know how
Now,
you could eliminate that? I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm really passionate
it does.
about this. But um, how could you eliminate these things happening? One, stop letting your kids hang out at other people's house. We
Yeah.
all know that one uncle that liked to play with little girls. It's
Yeah.
always been there. I'm 30 years old, and I've always known about that one uncle from childhood
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
just wants you to come over here. Too friendly.
Yeah.
Teaching our kids not be vulnerable, because if you tell a person not to be vulnerable, then you have a person that's carrying a whole bunch of anger around.
Right.
But to know the signs of a person who's possibly trying to get close to you for bad reasons.
I think that's something that's not taught. I think as
Listen,
parents, I'm saying, I think as parents, that's one thing that we either tend to forget because we focus so hard on other areas. But I think we don't really sit and teach our kids the signs. We teach the aftermath
mhm.
of it. We teach, hey, if somebody do it, come tell me.
But
We
that's the
don't
first
we
thing
don't
that we
teach the
jump to.
preventable
Yeah,
situations. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying, hey, if this person is moving like this, or if you don't feel comfortable around this person and stuff like that. A lot of kids, like I said, I was always taught kids don't lie. When kids say, yo, they don't fuck with you, they don't fuck with you. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying, kids, they having bad vibes around you. It's 9 times out of 10, it's
yeah,
not the kid. Nine
yeah,
times out of
yeah.
10, it's you.
It's the person, right?
Right. I'm saying later on down the line, you might find out some shit. You be like, oh, so that's why my son was like him, you know, and it might not necessarily be that situation, but we have to teach the the before and after action.
But wait, there's a lot of situations where there aren't any signs. There's situations where it's just that auntie that always come over, and that's cool, and she loves mommy, and she's just there. She's been nice to me my whole entire life,
Right.
and it's just that one time. There aren't any definite signs for an abuser, because abusers, what they do is they'll come in and they'll fill the void that you and your family are needing at that time. So I've watched documentaries of offenders, sex offenders, and and in these documentaries they ask the offenders like, how do you know which one is the perfect victim?
Okay.
And I'll answer your question one in 1 second, Mr. Allen. But and what the offender said was, the registered sex offender, what he said was how he pick his victim is, it'll be a single mother, and it'll be a coach. He's a coach, and he plays sports with these children every day.
Right.
And the board of education trusts him, so I'll trust him. He want to spend extra time with my son to play basketball,
Right. Right.
and the mother need time to herself because she got all these kids and she's overwhelmed and she's doing everything by herself. And then God sent this angel to take, this one child off my hand to make him better. That's when the abuse starts. And he said it. He said a broken family, if it's a family without a male in it, it's so easier to penetrate that family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's essential that our males step up and be parents to their children. Not saying that the fathers can't be the, abusers, but if there's a protector in the family, then you would eliminate the chances, lessen the chances of your family being affected by any sort of abuse. Now, Stemmen said, let me ask you guys this. Is there one way to eliminate trauma? And if so, what is it? I can, how can you prevent life from working? Because life is traumatic. Life is traumatic. Life isn't, I believe that life isn't made to be easy. I believe that life is always going to be filled with obstacles. And that, throughout those obstacles, you yourself, not the people around you, but you yourself, learn your strengths personally, your individual strengths, what you can and cannot handle.
Right.
There's no way to prevent trauma completely. It's impossible. You're going to meet people that's going to hurt your feelings and break your heart. You're going to go through these things. This is a part of building character. This is a part of building who you will be in your later life. Um, but from allowing somebody to come in and completely throw your life into another field, just look for the signs. If a person is constantly just not happy, if it's an unhappy person, and even though you love this person and your mission is to make the person happy, if you find yourself not being able to make this person happy, then maybe it's okay for you to walk away, because this isn't your problem to fix. This is not your fight, or if the person is going through something that they've dealt with in their childhood and it isn't completed, trying to help that person would be the ideal thing, because you love that person, right? But if in the process of you trying to help that person, you find losing yourself, that's a traumatic experience also. Do you not agree?
I also agree.
Losing
I
yourself, come
I
on.
I, I think to build on top of that, to add the Stead's question, I think the elimination of trauma you can't,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you can control what you choose to affect you and help the people around you and mold it to a certain extent. I'm
Yeah.
saying you have to pick and choose your battles in trauma situations. I'm saying most of us, it breaks us down when we choose to run. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because again, we don't address things. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's counseling or we're already in trouble about it, or we already had some type of mental disorder or drug abuse problem and so on and so forth. Now, I think to curb it, we have to definitely stand up, especially as men,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to check other men. That I was writing about this the other day on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Men don't check other men, regardless
No.
of what it is. How can I be in my kid's life or my children's life, and I'm hanging out with you, and you ain't seen your kids in 2 years, 3 years, you ain't taking care of them, you don't talk to them, you don't do nothing, but you're saying that you my homeboy. And I'm saying, why aren't I checking you about that?
Right. But
You understand?
it's not only that, it's the women also. How could you be involved with a man that has a child in this world and he doesn't see his kid, but he's
No,
still
but
in a
see, no,
relationship with
no,
her?
I can blame them, but I mostly can blame the man for the simple reason of, yo, listen, you only could, I'm saying it's always going to be that one female that just don't care what's going on in your personal life. And I'm saying, long as she getting the benefits that she needs, I'm saying she don't care. You can have
Mm-hmm.
10 baby mamas, 30 kids, as long as you say, yo, whatever, she's fine
Mm-hmm.
with it. I'm saying, but now it comes to a point where I'm saying he's taking care of her kids, and I know people like this person, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if my homeboy comes to me and say, "Yo, bro, what's going on with you, man? Like, You always want to go to the club every weekend with me, but you can't. You can't stop buying. I seen your little man the other day. He was looking crazy. You know what I'm saying, and
But that's
yo,
a part of trauma because his dad probably wasn't that man.
right? But you have to make him address that trauma.
But
You
how do
have to
you
put
make
some
him?
things in in his face.
Only thing that I see coming out of that, and I'm sorry to do this, but is you and your man's arguing. He has to come to a point, even though you do, that's your job is to hold somebody responsible and hold them accountable for their actions, right? So if you put it out there, now he sees that he knows that you see what he's doing, but it it always have to come from the person themselves. You get what I'm saying? Like I look like at certain guys in their situations, and you know, I just be like, wow, it's the woman. If somebody's constantly making like reassuring you that what you're doing is okay, you never change. Your children are gonna grow up one day. You might need a liver, and then you're gonna ask these same kids that you neglected for so many years, "Hey, could you help me out?" You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And that's where you'll get your wake up point. Like, yo, you never was there for me. How dare you? Now it's up to the kid to say, I'll help you or I won't. But that's when they'll realize it. And not to go off topic, but to talk about the trauma part, um, when do we get the air to be selfish? I'm more so learning to be selfish when it comes to my inner peace nowadays because I spend the majority of my time trying to make everybody okay and give everything to everybody that I have. But when is it okay to be selfish? When is it okay not to accept those behaviors or not to inherit anybody else's trauma? If
All the
you,
time.
it's
I
okay.
think I
When is
think
it
being I think all the time it's okay all the time to be selfish. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't learn that truly until my adult years after I had to show some growth within myself and I had to realize when I'm in my peaceful zone how different it is from what it
yeah,
is when you're constantly when your phone is always ringing and somebody else has a problem and you're taking on
right,
their problems and stuff like
right.
that and then you start to realize like yo, I mean, I got problems, but I ain't got 30.
But I don't want
I,
this. Like,
yeah, like
it's not my
I'm
fight.
cool on this. And
Right.
you have to I think experience uh teaches you that. I think a lot of times people go into a naive place to where they feel like even loved ones, you know, can definitely,
But that goes
use you.
into the behaviors falling into a controlled environment. Because
Hmm.
if you've been living in a household with your mama, your brother, your sister, your cousin, woo woo woo, right? All your life
Hmm.
until adulthood and everybody branches out and go do their own thing. You're taught, watch your sister, make sure nobody do nothing to your sister. And you have to boo 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 boo. And then you become an adult and it's almost like you have to pick and choose. So those are when is it okay to say, look, this is not my fight? And not do it to hurt anybody, but to say, listen, we've all experienced some form of trauma, but you have to, I can help you get to where you need to be, but you have to find that peace in your life also, because I cannot constantly let you disturb my peace. And that's a
Right.
form of being selfish. I feel like people think when you say selfish, it's like in a bad way. No, sometimes you have to, if you're in a relationship with somebody who's had childhood trauma, we've all experienced something that isn't the ideal childhood. You know what I mean? And if you haven't, God bless you. And, we mostly envy you, but all of us have experienced some sort of trauma in our life growing up, particularly.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but I think so more so in your 20s, you're probably rebelling, you're trying to find yourself, you're trying to get in your lane. But once you hit 30s, it's either or. It's like, yo, this
Yeah.
happened. Am I going to accept it and be a better person for myself? Or am I going to continue to put my anger and pain on somebody else? Somebody who could potentially really love me,
It
family,
becomes
anyone.
it becomes a point where your care level changes. And I had to realize that myself as like I said, as I grew. I realized a lot of things that I was caring about was actually bringing me down a lot more than it needed to be.
Yeah.
So now when people call me about certain things, I realize like Okay, so what you telling me for? Like
Right.
that's the problem you might need to go pray about. I don't got no answers for that, baby. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
okay
So
to
what?
just boom
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
cry.
yeah.
Just
But
let it out.
problem is people don't take the chance to grow,
They don't
and
want to.
that's what sticks with people. That's what sticks the trauma to people that eventually turns 40 and 50 years old that still had the same behaviors and continues the same narrative in life.
But we could stop that. And I feel like the reason why I say we could stop that now, because we have children. We growing up. It's a whole
Hmm.
nother generation coming. You understand? And the things that we were taught, throw them away. Let's start teaching our kids about being vulnerable,
I'm
about
a hoarder. I don't throw things away. I'm a hoarder.
you're what?
I'm a hoarder. I don't throw things away.
No, throw it away. Because we need to teach our kids about being vulnerable, allowing ourselves to be human. They say boys not supposed to cry. What? Cry. You're human. You have feelings. You have emotions. If somebody do something to you and you don't like it, instead of reacting violently, if it takes you going to a room and screaming and crying and shouting so you don't have to physically harm anyone, do that.
Right.
Um, teach our kids about finances. Um, teach our kids how to be financially stable before they get older. Teach our kids about credit. Teach our kids about being able to be a business owner and not being an employee. I think that some of the behaviors that we were taught, get growing up, turning 18, getting a job. That's all we knew.
Yeah.
Once you can get a job, well, you go to college, but college only further puts me in debt. If I
Ooh,
don't have a
excuse me.
scholarship, God bless you.
Thank you. Excuse me.
You know, college puts me more in debt. I'll be in debt by the time I finish college to get whatever degree I'm going to get. But in school, they don't teach us about being vulnerable, allowing ourselves to be human. We dehumanize our men constantly, um, which I'm not gonna say is only our men, but I'm gonna say for the most part, our guys are running around shooting and hurting people, and they're just adult little boys.
But
So
you know what? I'm glad you said that because that was something. That's another conversation that we had the other day when we was talking about how passionate I am about the change in things. You know what I'm saying? If you do your research and your history with a lot of things, opportunity, of course, you're gonna have bad apples. Don't you know? That's a given. But
mm-hmm,
opportunity breeds champions. You understand?
mm-hmm,
So if I'm sitting here watching the news and the only time I see Ben Krupp, Al Sharpton, and all the rest of these name brand dudes come to my neighborhood is when a black man gets shot by the cops or racial injustice is happening, I have a problem with that.
mm-hmm.
Because here today, it's Saturday, nothing's going on, nobody's been shot and stuff like that. Where are these guys at?
But we don't
Doing for
even
the
hear
community.
about Breonna Taylor anymore.
Right. And then like I just had a debate about the Black Lives Matter movement,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't believe in it. Because all of this money when George Floyd, you know, died, that y'all got like
When
a
he was
billion some
murdered.
dollars. Well, yeah, when he was murdered, y'all got all of this money, right? Where is it in these communities? I can't name a community that I can look up, go to, or turn on the TV and see where they put food drives, job training, programs, education system for the kids, somewhere for the kids to go to. That's because it don't start when they teens. It starts when these kids in these environments. And I'm saying when they're 3 or 4 years old and they're coming up and they're seeing drug dealer on the corner and it's a normal thing. You
Well,
understand?
let me all right. So that's a touchy topic because when it comes to African Americans, no shade to my people because I love my people. But it's still the mentality of a slave. It's like I'm free. I'm good. Y'all better figure it out. Unfortunately,
Mm.
but let's not talk about the individuals who received a lump sum of money and were able to better their lives. Thank God, God bless them and everything. The way they got it was unfortunate. So in that, we would want to, let them be progress in life and be better. Let's talk about the celebrities who've been wealthy, who've known about these situations, and who did not at all. do anything for any communities
Hmm.
like that would help the people. Like I'm not gonna say LeBron definitely he opened up a school and he did his thing. You know what I mean? Um, Jay-Z put the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, something that he could make money off of. Let's talk
Hmm.
about the community centers, bringing swimming back inside of the community centers so our people
Hmm.
can learn how to swim. Um, bringing what's those shops? You remember the workshops in high school where you learn how to build a computer or
Right, right,
um,
right,
the trades? Where
right.
are the celebrities? We cannot. They have the money and the platforms to be able to do these things for us.
But you know
They're
what?
not
Let me tell you
doing
something. I'm gonna tell you something about that, right? And I totally agree with you in full. My thing is we control that narrative. We praise celebrities so much when it comes to the baller room, shade room,
Mhm.
and all of it. And the first thing we do, I see people all the time on social media that know people personally, and their birthday will come up, and they won't say a thing, but Beyonce birthday will come up, and they'll be under a Beyonce post like, "Oh my God, happy birthday, B!" Like they best
Right.
friends. We control that narrative. You know what I'm saying? And we made that cool. Like you said, it might be the slave mentality because we praise them so much to the fact that we don't care what they do. We
And
only
they
care
don't care
we
about
only
us.
care what they do when it comes to being in their business so much that we forget what's ours. The Tory Lanez and the Megan Thee Stallion situation. We begin
Mhm.
to to try to investigate that whole situation and stuff like that, which it's okay, it's entertaining, but people forget what's entertaining from reality. You know what I'm saying? So if we learn, know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, and stop letting these outsiders into these communities, know what I'm saying, make
Mhm.
them choose a side, is what I'm saying. These
No,
Ben
well,
Crumps, these Al Sharptons, these Jesse Jacksons, and all the rest of that. Yo, I get it, nigga. Your suit is real nice on CNN. Know what I'm saying? But nigga, when I'm going to the corner and there's 30 niggas at that store with guns, nigga, y'all niggas is nowhere out here preaching this gospel.
but wait, because Al Sharpton was never for the people. It's the people fought that Al
None of them
Sharpton.
are. None of them are.
Okay,
Ben Crump charged George Floyd family, you know what I'm saying, for his services. But
but
nobody knows that. He got on TV and
you
said he did
cannot
it pro
fault
bono.
the people that are benefiting from our ignorance. How could you fault them?
No.
Nobody's saying nothing. When it's a huge situation, we see them. It's like, oh my god, he's taking a risk. No, he isn't. These are, you know what I mean.
Right.
But we allow them to do certain things with us because we don't keep a steady pace. Our attention span on certain things is really short.
Ah,
It's for a while,
absolutely.
and if you're gonna you're looked at constantly. Like, oh, they mad right now, but they'll be over in a minute. Where the hell Wh- is no the solution is, when are you going to hold whoever accountable for whatever they're doing?
Mm,
When are we going to say, look, that's wrong, we're not doing this, and really mean it? When are we going to
mhm.
say it shouldn't take another black person getting killed by anybody for us to say we have injustices still in our communities?
Right.
There was a time where the police did not even police our communities. We had Black Panthers that came and they protected the community, that provided for
Absolutely.
the community. Now we're solely relying on the police to police our communities, and we're not even protecting ourselves. When you see an old lady walking out of a grocery store, you're not holding the door for the old lady.
I agree.
You ain't
I
grabbing the
agree.
bags. Or if you see somebody the other day, my neighbor, I don't know him. He just lives where I live at. I've seen him. I know he take care of his mother. His mother's older woman. But he was pulling her through the snow in a walker. It was very uncomfortable for her because she's rocking back and forth. And he's
Hmm.
an older man and he loves his mom. He's taking care of his mom. Now, me, I'm raising a young black man. I tell my son, come lift up the front of the walker so that she doesn't have to be uncomfortable and he doesn't have to struggle, because these are the people we're raising up. Let our youngsters know better. So when they are the people who are going to be around us, when we're, God willing, 50, 60, 70, 80, we'll have responsible, accountable people that will protect and provide for us.
Right.
And that's the only solution, is if we now in our 30s and 20s make people accountable, teach younger people how to be accountable and be respectable and be honest people. If we Point it out to them, even if they get mad. This is wrong. This
You
is not
know, you know,
accepted.
you know what else? You know what else? I think our people have to stop being so naive. We allow ourselves to get caught up in the first thing that sounds good, and we run with it. You
Yeah.
know, we allow ourselves to get caught up in more promises than actual reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's just like these presidential elections and stuff like that. I ain't got nothing against it, you know. But in all reality, the people that's out here on the ground with these type of situations, it don't affect. You know what I'm
Do
saying? When they
you
make all
know?
these changes and stuff like that. Now, if we like Pookie said, if we hold ourselves accountable and each other
Mm-hmm.
accountable, it's a whole nother. Do you know how many things we control? The social media realm and stuff like that. But all the OGs and everything else, they're scared. They're scaredy cats. They're Instagram monsters, you know, because they'd rather get on social media and say all of this stuff that sounds great. But as soon as you be like, yo, listen, man, let's go out here in the community, talk to these young boys, you know what I'm saying? Because I know this CDL school where they teaching dudes how to drive trucks for free or whatever the case is, or whatever. Man, I ain't going front, bruh.
But then
So it
that's
changes.
but that's when you call that person out. Don't be mad at that person. Like what I'm saying is, don't be mad. Put them in. Put them out there on front sheet. Show them. Show people who that person is.
Hmm. Hmm.
Everything is not about holding a grudge. You cannot fault these people. This is a
No,
learned
no, but I'm
lesson.
saying what I'm saying is even when you call them out, the moral of the game has changed. You understand? Before when we were coming up, if somebody told you this person was a certain way, you took that. You know what I'm saying? Or you went, you figured it out. You
Mm-hmm.
watched that person. All right, I gotta watch him. They said he moved kind of funny. I gotta watch him. Nowadays, all you gotta do is pull out a couple dollars and he big bro again.
But look, it takes nothing. We spend money. We not rich, right?
You
But
know.
I'm pretty sure you spent well over $3,000 this month or last month.
First of all, don't count my finances.
But
Child support
no,
is
I'm
listening.
just I'm saying in general. We spend money every day. Now, if we sat there and held the money that we would go out and purchase or pay bills or whatever and let it accumulate, that'll be a huge, it'll be a nice little piece of money, right?
Yeah.
We don't need nobody. If you really want to do something, you're going to do it. If you want to make time for somebody, you're going to make time. So if we saying the solution is teaching our youth, right? Why us regular people can't get together and do something for our youth to teach our men, that our young boys who are going to potentially be men, eventually be men.
Right. Right.
We could do that. It don't take no TV camera. It don't take a superstar. It just takes a little bit more time out your day and possibly a couple of dollars that you have to help this little boy who probably don't have a dad or who don't have a mama who cares enough to sit down and help him with his homework or see how he feel in the day. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? Like
Right.
we don't need those people. So now when we start eliminate those people and doing it ourselves, like we should, then what they gonna have? What platform are they gonna be able to sit on and say this isn't what?
Yeah. I think we need to start controlling the narrative a lot more with a tight grip. Like you said, we're the ones that actually we're not afraid to spend money. We spend money every day
But
at high dollar amounts. But I feel like we
wait,
all
I see Anna said something about what Stedman said as far as getting into the government and do you know you only thing required to run for I believe it's mayor or city council is um citizenship. I believe 4 years of being a citizen, or might have changed to 6 years, and no criminal history. That's it. You could run for city council today or
do me a
tomorrow.
favor, don't point at me no more.
But it takes nothing. Like if you really wanted to if you wanted to be a part of what makes a difference in our community,
Mhm.
literally, you can sit here today, go on Google, do your own due diligence, teach our youth how to go and get the information for yourself. Don't rely on word of mouth. Don't rely on, oh, this person said they're gonna do. No, pick up a book or pick up a phone and look and do
That's,
your own due diligence.
that I
People
think that's
think,
another problem. I think that's
yeah,
another problem. This day and age, people don't succeed because of their social skills, and they don't have social skills because of this.
mm-hmm.
Everything can be done via phone. I've seen people sit in the same room and text each other,
But you
right?
cannot blame the government for that because,
No, I'm not saying I'm not
oh,
blaming the government for anything because I blame the people that says they have this and they have these opportunities, but don't put them to use in the correct way like they say they want to do. My problem is the faking of it. I'm saying if you're just a normal person and you just like yo whatever, yo, I'm not checking you out. But if you're constantly broadcasting, i.e., Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, how great you are for the community, and we only see you when these things happen. Those are the people that I have a problem with. I have the problem with the celebrities that gets on Instagram and shows us a $30 million house, and then you know what I'm saying when he die, he has a GoFundMe in his bio.
no, but no, don't pay attention to the celebrity. That's his
No,
30,000.
no, no, no.
But
My thing is those are the distractions, is what I'm saying for us. we we
yeah,
we
but that's
tend
only
to
when
be.
people allow it to be a distraction.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you can't name a person outside of the older generation right now that don't go on Instagram and go right to the shade room or whatever. And you can talk to anybody. You can walk out your house right now and just stop a random person. Like, hey man, what you think about that Tory Lane situation? Oh, he did it because they know about it because they're so in tune with it. And you can be like, yo man, what you think about the dude that got
But
killed
that's
man
not
two
just a
days
black
ago?
thing. That's a world thing. But how we could fix
I'm
that
not
is,
talking about the world. Let's make this clear. In this
yeah.
conversation, I'm talking about the community that I'm in.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't want to make this a racial barrier, anything like that. I love all people, but in order, I feel passionate about what needs to change where I'm from.
But how you gonna change that? Like, I'm not trying to come at you anyway, but
Okay.
how you gonna change it? Like, what can the first step is to acknowledge it, right?
Uh-huh.
And the second step is to get others to acknowledge it.
Mhm.
But the third step is, you said this is the problem: the iPhones, the phones itself, the computers, the iPad. No, you gotta take accountability. I realize that my kids are done. They are connected to the internet. They are connected to the phone. They cannot live without those things, right?
Mhm.
So we went to Target, and guess what? I got them a thick book, a whole book of Malcolm X, and they were looking at me like, "What we finna do with this?" And I'm like, "We're gonna read this book." You could read a book on your phone because it flips the pages for you. It minimizes the size of the page. You really don't spend no time doing it, and you're not working this muscle. You're not sounding words out because if you tap it, you could get the word said to you, right?
Mhm.
So that's a start. It's putting our children back into actual textbooks like we learned.
Uh, Again, like I was telling you, it's the social problem. When we were coming up, when we got up on Saturday, the first thing we did, Mike, can I go outside?
No, that's
Right?
what you did. I wasn't able to go outside.
All right. Yeah, you about to be a hater.
I was really
But
booked.
now you wake up so late or whatever time you wake up as a parent, and you're like, yo, what them kids doing in there? They too quiet. You know what I'm saying? Little Ray down on the floor with his iPad like this. I'm playing Fortnite.
What? No, baby.
No, but look, that their social skills is thrown off. That's why I think right now, if we'd have had well, it's not an opportunity, but if we'd have had to stay home and do our schoolwork online, we'd have been good. You want to know why? We had the social skills because we had to use this every day. We had to go outside to figure out how to ride a bike. We had to go outside to figure out, all right, don't climb the gate too high because your shoes didn't got that much grip. You know what I'm saying? Your bush ass. We had to go play basketball outside. We had to go play tag. We had to go have conversations face to face. Like when your friend called you Saturday morning, you had to pick up the phone. Huh? You said, meet y'all in the corner. Okay, I'm coming downstairs right now. Don't leave me, y'all. You couldn't be on the phone walking to him like y'all see me. No,
Yeah,
it was a whole
technology
new
has a
realm.
lot to do with it,
You
but
know what I'm saying?
it only is only as much as you allow as a parent. Because I'm not gonna lie, Daddy used to take the he used to take the cable boxes and the computers, unplug everything. My dad used to take everything from us, and at first I hated it. I did not understand why. Like, what is wrong with him? He's evil. But then I got it. Pick up a book. Don't get so carried away with all these things that you forget to use your brain, because the brain is a muscle that you need to work every day.
Absolutely.
So even though the world is, the way it is, it's technology everywhere now. For it's a good reason. It's a pros and it's cons to it. But you in your household, like Ray Ray couldn't be in my house. Ray Ray will be mad because I take all the devices at night and I put them in my room. Nobody has a
Right.
device but me, because you ain't finna be up online. And then it opens them up to a lot of predators, a lot of people who mean no
Right.
good.
Right.
You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So as a
Yeah.
parent in the household, you, regardless of if Corona stopped the show, and now you have to learn a whole new way. This right here is art that I make my kids. We do stuff during Corona now. I make them use their minds. Let's not forget about the skills you might have that right now,
Right.
because of Corona, you're not using.
Right.
So
Right.
it takes the parent. We cannot put it all on anybody else. When you in this house, if I allow you to be on Fortnite all night, then that's on me when you fail in class. When Ray Ray I mean, sorry, not to curse about Ray Ray, but because when Ray Ray, no, because if Ray Ray teacher tell me Ray Ray getting left back, I can't get mad at him because Ray Ray is only doing what I allow him to do,
Yeah.
right? But if I say, Ray Ray, at 7 o'clock, I'm taking that game from you, pick up this book or clean up this house, but you're not going to spend all your day on this damn game. Now Ray
Absolutely.
Ray going, he don't want to clean up, so he going to pick up that book. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we have to do our part. It starts in the house. I make these kids draw. They draw crazy stuff. We done planted flowers. We done wrote books. We done made plays. You have to start. It starts in the home regardless, and if the home is not a good environment for that child to grow and be in progress and make good progress during this time especially, then that's a child who will have trauma. I
I
feel like,
totally agree.
you know what I mean, like the child has to be in a place where they feel safe enough to express themselves, whether it be through music, through dance, through um anything. And because Corona has stopped, we put a lot on the school system to be able to do that for us. When our kids go to school, they make us a Mother Day card, and we like, oh, he made this card. But when he come home, do you buy him any painting materials? He might just like painting. We don't do that.
Oh, talk
Prior,
that talk.
you know what I mean? Prior to Corona, we probably didn't really know our kids. I know my kids too well now. They are annoying, but
Yeah, they are.
I'm learning how to spark their mind a little bit more. I'm throwing stuff at them. Let's create something. Now we teaching them how to be able to create different things, how they could survive, how they could possibly make money from something that they probably didn't even know they had in them, a talent that they never even knew.
But you
Yeah.
know what? You know what I had to realize about parenting? Parenting is not hard. A lot of people think parenting
What you
is
a lie?
hard when it
You
comes to
not
no,
saying
it's not.
that.
I'm gonna tell you something. Once you know your kids, parenting becomes so easy
Do
because
you really ever
yeah,
know your kids though? You really
I
don't know
mean,
your
no,
kids.
not saying
It's
because
how
at the end of the day, not saying you
no.
really never gonna know yourself. Not saying because, like I said, sometimes you might go do something that you didn't even know you like. So you're never gonna fully 100% understand yourself. But the more you understand your children, that makes parenting easier because you can you can kind of stay 10 steps ahead of them. I'm
What
saying to a
parents?
certain extent.
Well, that's
I'm
good for
saying.
you. I want to have your kids because parenting ain't easy. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna.
Not you can't have my kids because I don't want yours.
I'm never gonna say that. Parenting is easy. Parenting is the hardest thing.
No, I
Parenting
didn't
is
say it
harder
was
than.
easy. I'm just saying, it gets easier the more you know your kids.
Once you realize you're raising adults, you could possibly be raising a serial killer, depending on how you treat that child. Do you think Ted Bundy's mother knew she was raising a damn serial killer? Yes or no? Honestly, throughout his childhood, with all the weird stuff he was doing, did she know she was raising a whole?
I'm gonna tell you something. If my child is killing 10 cats a week, I know something the fuck is wrong.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But at that time, she probably, you wasn't paying attention.
No. You won't pay attention to nigga killing 10 cats a week.
But parenting is not hard. It's not easy. It's super hard when you realize that you are being held responsible for the people who will be the people of. And these have to be good people. You have their destiny is in your hands essentially, because if you do something, every child is different. So you might have a sensitive ass child, you might have a child who could tough it out and keep it moving, and you have to be able to accommodate each child and not put them in a situation where they could possibly be grown adults being the worst adult. When you really think about stuff like that, it's like, damn, I gotta try to be or try to learn things that I never was taught. Get out of the mind frame
You're
that
right.
I'm in as a parent and try to step out and do different things that I never had. You get what I'm saying?
You're
So
right. You're right about
it's
that.
never easy. It'll never be easy when you have somebody's future in your hands, literally. Literally, you have the future. Every child is a sponge. I agree. You have these children who will be adults one day. And depending on how every child is going to have a story of what they didn't like, whatever. But depending on how you carry them from young, because you're teaching them, is how they're going to be as adults.
Right.
And God forbid they never accept whatever happened in the past and move forward, then you're going to have a problem. And that'll be your child. You raised that child. You know what I mean? So parenting is not easy. No, it's not.
Yo, I ain't gonna front. I know you was that smart. But
What? See, I'm not gonna disrespect you.
yo, I said we about to wind this down. Yo, of course, much love to you, my sister, for coming up here on this platform and joining me
Thank
today,
y'all.
this episode. Now I'm saying, yo, you really, spread the gospel, man. I appreciate you, man. You
The
taught me a
gossip.
lot.
Gossip. I don't gossip. Fix that. Fix that. I don't talk
I
about.
said gospel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did that. That's what I do.
Anyway. But anyway, yo, I appreciate everybody that come through
Yes,
the page
everybody. Thank
to
you.
show us some love, man. Like, yo, please keep supporting, man. We love you guys.
Yes.
We're gonna keep keeping it real on this show. Most definitely. Yo, till next week. We're out of here. I am your boy, Eternal Grind Capo. That is my sister, KB. And
I'm
we're out of
God's
here,
sister.
man.
Love y'all.
Tune in.
Subscribe and like the page. Follow.
Yeah. Please share, subscribe, and like the page. And yo, appreciate it, grinders. We'll be
We'll
back
see
next
you
week.
next week. Bye.
Peace.